Okay, continuing on lesson 1.8, we've been in it for a little while here. We've been working with ratios and rates and proportions, and we're still working with proportions, okay? The proportions we have solved so far have had only one term in either of the numerators and one term in either of the denominators. But it's not always like that. So some proportions with more than one term have more than one term in their numerator and or denominator. So we're going to, when that is the case, we're going to put the expression that has more than one term in parentheses. Yeah, we need them in parentheses. That's going to be a really important step. If you do not put them in parentheses, your success is going downhill right from there. Okay? So, in number 1, we're setting up our cross products. Just like we solve any proportion, and if we have more than one term in one of our numerators or denominators, we make sure we put that in parentheses. So what could be one of our cross products?
X plus 10.
X plus 10 in parentheses, okay, because there's more than one term. More than one term, so put it in parentheses times the 1, which is across from it, right? That denominator times the other numerator. Payne? Yeah. You're working with us. And the other cross product will be?
6 and 8.
8 times 6, or 6 times 8. Does not matter. Order doesn't matter in multiplication. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, if we put the one that has more than one term in it, if we put that first, we're going to rewrite it, and we're going to have we're just going to get rid of the multiplication dot, because then it's going to look like something that we're familiar with. We're going to have to use which property here? To get rid of those parentheses. Distributive property. Okay, so we're going to rewrite that as 1 in front of x plus 10, and then what is 8 times 6? 48. Okay. Let's do our distributive property next.
1x plus 10.
1x plus 10 equals 48. And what would be our next step?
Subtract 10 on both sides.
Subtract 10 from both sides. What do we have now?
Divide by 1.
We have, wait a minute, what do we have after we subtract? 1x equals 38. Okay. Now what will be our next step?
Divide by 1.
Divide by 1. Okay, so both sides divided by 1. And what is our solution?
38.
X equals 38. Okay, now, I was going to have you do check problems, but I know what happened when we had to do check problems last time. It kind of took away from being able to do the problems correctly because we were confused. Checking is not the same as solving.
It's the opposite.
It's kind of like taking what you've got for your solution and making sure it works. And so we don't follow the same steps. So we're going to cross out that. We're not going to do the checking. But I do want to do a mental math check with you, okay? So let's put 38 in right here for x. You don't have to do this on your papers. Just do it with me, mental math, okay? So if I put 38 in for x, what is 38 plus 10? 48. So it becomes 8 over 48. And does that simplify?
Yes.
What does 8 over 48 simplify to? They're both divisible by 6. 8 goes into itself once, and 8 goes into 48 6 times. So this ratio becomes 1/6, and the other ratio becomes 1/6. Do you remember us doing this?
Yeah.
And setting them up and saying, can this be a proportion? It can only be a proportion if one ratio really is exactly the same as the other in value. Okay? So we're not going to do check problems, but that's what we would do if we would make sure that these ratios, whatever number we got for the variable, would actually make those ratios equal to each other. Okay. Why don't you try setting up the next one? Just set up the cross products. So on one side, the cross product should be the g minus 3 in parentheses getting multiplied by the 4. Doesn't matter which side this is on, but the g minus 3 in parentheses times the 4 is one of our cross products. And the other one is the 5 times the 7, or 7 times 5. Order does not matter in multiplication. So now we're going to, because of the way I set it up here, I'm just going to rewrite it so I can see the distributive property nicely. Do you agree with me that 5 times 7 is 35? Okay. What's it going to become after I do the distributive property on the
4.
left side?
4g and minus 12.
Okay, 4g minus 12 equals our 35. And now we have our equation to solve. So what are we going to do next?
Subtract 12.
Subtract or add? What do you want me to do, Riley?
Add.
Well, you add the opposite then.
Okay, so change this to add the opposite.
Negative 12, then you can add 12 positive.
Yeah, now I can add a positive 12 to both sides. Okay. So now what's the equation read?
47.
No, what's this?
4g.
4g over here. That's the only thing left there because these guys are gone. And yes, this side becomes 47. At this point, we might stop and say, I must have done something wrong because I don't like 47 and 4 together. They aren't very compatible, are they?
No.
But that's okay. They don't always have to be. JC?
Can you explain how you got the 12?
Where'd the 12 come from? Okay, 4 times 3. That's where that came from. Okay, and we didn't change the subtraction to add the opposite, did we? We should have done that. Maybe that's where you got confused. Did you change subtraction to add the opposite in there? No? Okay, well, if we do, it'd be g plus a negative 3. That 4 has to be multiplied times the g, and it has to be multiplied times the negative 3. So that's where our minus 12 or negative 12 comes from. Okay, what's our final step here? Right?
Divide 4 by 4. No, divide 47 by 4.
Okay, divide both sides by 4.
Yeah.
Right? Divide both sides by 4. Show dividing both of them. Okay, but
75.
okay. So in other words, you're saying that you can take 11 fours out of there, right? 11 fours come out of 47, and there's how many left?
There's
3 left, which is
75.
3/4, and that's the same as 0.75, isn't it? So
Can we keep it as a decimal?
yes, you can, as long as it's a nice decimal like that. But if it's not a nice decimal, like one that doesn't end, then we're not going to. We're going to leave it as a mixed number instead. Okay? So we can have it like this, or we can, because this is a nice decimal that ends, we can leave it as a decimal. Okay?
So it's like point C.
Yeah. When it's 0.3 repeating, we wouldn't want to leave it as a decimal. What is 0.3 repeating?
Can we just write the repeat sign?
Nope.
33.3.
What is 0.3 repeating? What fraction is it?
33.3.
No.
Wait.
1/3. If you get a 0.3 repeating behind something, that's representing 1/3. What would a 0.6 repeating be then? 0.6 repeating.
2/3.
2/3. If 0.3 is 1/3, 0.6, twice as much is 2/3. Okay, let's go to the back side. Got one more to do, but this time notice what's going on. Remember, we're not doing the check problems. You can cross that out. We got 2 numerators that have 2 terms each in them. So this time, we're going to do 2 sets of parentheses in our problem. We have x take away 2 times that denominator 3, and we have x plus 2 times that denominator 5. So I'm going to rearrange this. I want that 3 to be up front, and I'm going to make it into an add the opposite problem. So the 3 came up front, changed it to x plus a negative 2. On the other side, the 5 is going to come out front. It already is an addition problem, so I'm not going to mess with that. Okay, go ahead and work from there. You got 2 distributive properties to do on both sides. You're going to work on this side with that distributive, and then on the other side you have another distributive property to do. And then check to see if you and I agree. Okay, anybody want to challenge me, help me figure out where I went wrong if I did, or do we agree?
I agree.
Isaac agrees with me, that's good.
Yep, I'm agreeing.
So it's Brighton, okay. Anybody else? Thumbs up if you agree with me? Okay, awesome, we can move on. Okay, what are we going to make our next move? You get X's on both sides. And they're not on the same side, so yes, they're like terms, but not on the same side, so we can't combine them, we gotta move them from one side or the other. So which side should we move?
The 3x.
Let's get the 3x, okay, so take 3x away from both sides. And now we will have negative 6 equal to what?
2x.
2x
Plus 10.
plus 10. Okay, what will be our next move?
Minus 10.
Subtract 10, okay, so we subtract 10 from both sides.
Which is negative 16.
Okay, subtracting 10 from a negative number, sometimes it's easier to change that to add the opposite, isn't it? So this could become plus a negative 10. What is negative 6 plus negative 10?
16.
Negative 16. And over here, those guys are gone. We just have our 2x left. And we have one final step left. What is it?
Divide.
Divide by
2.
2. Divide both sides by 2.
Negative 8.
So negative 16 divided by 2?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. And the 2's cancel out over there, leaving x by itself. Okay. Any questions on that one? Okay, we'll stop there for today. Call it quits. We'll finish up the other two tomorrow, and then today you can get started on your homework now.